What are priorities for Glasgow?
Well, I'm going to come in with a different perspective here. Let me tell you, from Seven Cullis Suzuki in 1992 to Greta Thunberg, several young environmental activists have voiced their frustration of the young people, that the fine statements and pledges actually only remain in the conference outcome documents and barely translate into actions. So we saw even Elizabeth talking about that there was a protocol which was actually working to save the ozone layer, and then we moved to Kyoto, which was a toothless and a more relaxed protocol. But let me not go there. But while I'm very energized by the panelists, their thoughts and positivity, I believe that any action which restricts the global warming to under 3 degrees, which we all want, will have to be youth and in essence consumer driven. I want to support my argument with an example. Let's look at this example of an arrangement which was designed to help producers and workers in growing countries achieve more sustainable and equitable trade relationships. We all know about fair trade, and we are all great fans of the fair trade products. So fair trade came into existence and is still working pretty well due to three major co-drivers. And if you look at it, none of it is government intervention. So looking at the core drivers of why fair trade is successful, the first thing is consumers drive the sales of the products when they see that the producer in sync with their values. So most of the products have higher sales whenever they're more transparent, they're more sustainable, and they show that they're fairer to the producers and the workers who are part of the supply chain. Several trade practices globally, which we practice today, right, they result in exploitation of either the people or the planet and end up in unequal distribution of profits between the traders. So consumers actually want to wield their power to set things right, which is exactly why fair trade is also working. And the final core driver, according to me, is that younger generations feel that buying products at their fair price, which do the fair bit for the people, planet, and profits, is a more efficient way of promoting sustainability than charity or aid. So now this is the power of the consumer, the modern day consumer, millennials and Gen Z who are coming in. Fair trade products exist not because of a government or an intergovernment agency enforcing it, but because there is consumer demand and companies benefit from serving this demand. So I want to go into other examples like from Unilever embracing their sustainable living plan and turning around their businesses and growing by capturing the market share, to Coca-Cola coming out with the optics of making sure that they collect and recycle every plastic bottle they produce by 2030, to a lot of companies, be it Nestle, be it PepsiCo, be it all these FMCG majors, Procter & Gamble, joining the fight to end the ocean plastic pollution. Or you look at Nike or Adidas making shoes and t-shirts out of recovered plastic or carbon neutral products. Every corporate action is happening because it's what the consumers want. It's what the young consumers really want. So there is a statistic that 40% of consumers say that products that use sustainable materials are more important in their day-to-day purchasing. And this number is only going to grow day by day. Other perspective which I want to bring is young people are really powerless constituents of the global processes, be it the COP or be it several other global processes where there are agreements and governmental outcomes actually come in, commitments come in. But young people are growing more powerful with every passing day as responsible and more sustainable minded consumers who can change the way products are produced, who can change the way that products are consumed. So one thing which I see is there is an urgent need for a global movement or a platform to promote or to make zero carbon products or carbon neutral products more mainstream. And this movement or a platform should also aim at channelizing the right intent and energy of young people into a very intense consumer revolution where, every producer on the planet will have to, or at the end of the day, like, convert their processes to become more energy efficient or more carbon efficient. So while this sounds like a huge challenge, as an entrepreneur, right, I always see a huge economic opportunity in this too. So the moment which we are talking about can catalyze the transition towards a greener economy powered by young entrepreneurial talents. Apart from that, also creates millions of new green jobs, decent jobs for the unemployed folks across the world. So I'm definitely sold, and I personally believe that it is consumer driven movements and consumer driven campaigns which are actually going to be detrimental in helping us avoid the climate urgency what we are at right now, or restricted at under 3 degrees, which is what all of us are hoping. And in the process, if we can have the governments come together and guide the industry with incentives to boost innovation and support the manufacture of these zero carbon products or carbon neutral products, there could be no better catalyst than that. So to be really honest, what I am expecting to come out of COP 2016, sorry, COP 26 at Glasgow is, I'm damn sure that, there is going to be humongous announcements. There are going to be glamorous commitments which every country is going to make, including India. Like, while they do it for the media, on the background, they try to soften their commitments, or they try to sabotage the progress. What I'm looking at is, at least if these people can come up with a coalition or a fund or a platform to support the acceleration of research and innovation and the manufacture of these carbon neutral or zero carbon products, and helping them in making them mainstream. So it would be a great commitment to see if the member nations would actually come in support of the entrepreneurs or in support of the innovators who are working on these solutions. But being a realist, I actually think that even if nothing comes out of it, young people will power this change. Young people will make sure that we will not see a catastrophic climate crisis beyond 2030 or beyond 2035. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity, and I'll wait for any questions, and thank you.